Are you ready for a fifth line day? Today at 1803 BST, on the 19th of April, we moved into the third gate, line 5. And this line is called Victimisation. There's a lifetime learning that goes along with this. It says, when actions designed to overcome confusion alienate others. Now, the fifth line, as we know, is a line of projection. So think about how society sees this gate of mutation. They see it through the fifth line because that is where the themes of the hexagram externalize, which means they see being a mutative force as being a victim. And that when the mutative force is not clear in its own nature, it is then victimized by those who want to guide it, whether their guidance is benign or otherwise. Once there has been a shift, a mutation, the wisdom that the third gate collects in their life can be used both to recognize who is a good guide for others and also how they can be a valued guide themselves. Individuality has the unique energy of being able to withstand confusion, which is a good thing in this gate. But no matter what, they're able to just stand grounded in it and not be victimized by it. They have to surrender to their differences, but they don't get pulled into the confusion around it. The fifth line heretic who doesn't surrender, who tries to control the forces of mutation, they end up in trouble. Their reputation can suffer. They can really get hurt. The projection field, it wants to be satisfied. It wants to be saved by this fifth line. It wants a practical solution. The individual heretic, they can help themselves by accepting that the timing of when things happen is not up to them. That's not how the pulse energy works. It's not how mutation works. This will make it more likely that they then don't answer the call for things that they are not equipped to help with. The gate 3, line 5, in this example, they cannot promise a mutation in times of crisis. They just can't. They can be called upon to produce a mutation that they may or may not be able to produce. It's out of their control. And so they can get victimized for it. They can get blamed if they say, yes, I can provide you with a mutation. No. Ra tells us that one of the great lessons for the third gate is respect for the muse. In that respect, there is the recognition that mutation is not something that can ever be controlled. It's not something that is ever going to be predictable. It follows no inherent pattern that we can grasp. Its cycles can be so much greater than our limited lifetimes. In the exalted, we find the courage to stand by one's own convictions. And this is where we see the integrity of the individual, the integrity to follow their own convictions despite the projections of others. And in the detriment, we have where victimization leads to appeasement and suffering. Ra tells us that whenever you're looking at any hexagram, when you look at the first and the fifth lines, you see the whole story of that hexagram. So this first line, it tells you that the deepest truth of what the hexagram is. And then this fifth line tells you how the world is going to see it. Here in the third gate, we have the world sees synthesis in this gate of ordering as victimization. Or not. Let's hope not. But who knows? We go to gate 50 in the line 5 and we find consistency. Part of the makeup of the fifth line is in the hope that it carries the message or the theme of its hexagram to complete itself. In the 50 line 5, we find the line of consistency where there is enough awareness to be consistent in the way in which the law is established. This is the energy that is grounding the third gate in the line 5. In having consistency in the established values, there can be the strength to stand by one's convictions and thus avoid victimization. The moon, our lovely moon, is currently in gate 40. It's still there. We looked at that yesterday. At 14:15 BST, we move into gate 64. This is called before completion, and it's the gate of confusion, which is really appropriate as we're moving through this third gate. It's the abstract mental pressure, trying to make sense of the memories of the past, the experiences of the past. It's a constant pressure in this gate, and it comes without any apparent order, which can be very confusing. But it's a natural part of the process. It's a process which needs time to chunter along. You know, any attempt at forcing a realization or relieving the pressure can just lead to anxiety and more confusion. There's no joining of the dots here. That's what happens later on in the ajna, where we go next at 01:42. Tomorrow morning, we go into gate 47, and this is the filtering process that's attached to this gate of confusion. This is the gate of realization. This is the sorting through all of the mental images from the gate 64, making sense of the past, finding the meaning in it. But even so, it's not an instant quick fix. You know, it's not that kind of a process. It takes time for clarity to come through. The experiential abstract circuitry is very linked to the solar plexus, and we know there's no truth in the now. It takes time for clarity to emerge from the pictures that it's picking up in the confusion of the gate above it. This is not a gate for making sense of your own confusion, a bit like we saw in the 4, when the 4 is with the 63. Gate 4 is not about making sense of your own doubts or formalizing some answers to your own doubts. It's for other people. It's to be used as an outer authority. And that is the same thing here in this gate 47. It's not a gate for making sense of your own confusion, but for sharing your realizations with others, with the collective, potentially helping them to resolve their own life issues. So that is our gate for today. That is our transit. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Always remember, you look at your own chart in relation to all of these transits so that you get the big picture. And yeah, go gently, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.